Some of you might be asking, why don't I fill up the freshwater tank at my house, at my Sticks and Bricks? And that is a very good question. The answer to that very good question is I don't have a convenient spigot. If you notice, my house sits really far back and from the street, and I don't have a really good spigot. Or, well, I don't have a spigot close by where I could run a hose. So I'm glad I found this place today that lets me dump and fill up, because I have to dump anyways. I'm not going to dump at my house. So if I have to dump anyways, having a place where I can just fill up conveniently, fill up the freshwater tank, that's going to work for me. Now I'm second guessing myself on the second tamale. The first one kind of filled me up. I've been accused of being a fast eater, and I'm trying really hard to change that. And it wasn't always the case for me. When I was in college, I lived in an off-campus dorm, and they had a cafeteria and everything. You bought a meal plan. And I would go down for dinner. And you remember, they would do meals, dinner time in shifts. So there were like 3 shifts starting at 4 and going to like 7 or something like that. And I would go down at 4, and I would stay until 7 just to see my friends come and go in the dining room. And, excuse me, I would eat slowly. I'd stretch out my dinner during that 3-hour period. That was probably because it was more social for me. Smells nice. This is that maple and espresso. We got a lot done today. We got a lot done today. So I got those tanks dumped and got the fresh water filled and managed to get the van washed. Look, it's all clean. So nice. Yeah, so we're ready for our next adventure, which is coming up in a couple days. Julia will be with us. This is what I like. I like this part of van life. Just kind of out in nature, in your own little tiny home. Kind of relaxing and winding down. These are nice, right? They kind of make it homey. I've got my little tea set. I'm going to have some tea. I do have some more things to do. I don't know if I told you, but with all the storms, that tea with whole milk is just wonderful. It's the best. I'm going to close this a little bit so there's a heavy breeze coming in. I don't want it to cool off the tea too much. So I'm going to close that one. Keep this one open. I also have the sunroof over us open. I'm really enjoying this nice weather that we're having finally after all the storms. I don't know if I told you, but with all those storms for the last 3 weeks, just pounding California, wave after wave. Um, there was a slight leak from the Truma Aventa air conditioner. Now, this is not a panoramic problem. This is apparently a known issue with Truma and the air conditioner. And I think there's I don't know if they call it a recall, but there's something they can do to fix it. So I have to schedule it to go into a dealer who will do whatever they need to do. Apparently, I don't know if there's something they need to put into it or retighten it down or something like that. In any case, it was only a few little drops of water that I saw that came in, and they dropped onto the bed. It wasn't a lot, but it was some. And so I have to say, Truma has been great. Panoramic has been great. Panoramic right away reached out to Truma, and Truma right away reached out to me and wanted to talk with me directly and make sure my needs are taken care of and all of that. So they have both been great to work with. It's so minor for me, and the rains have stopped for now, that I haven't made the fix yet, but I'm going to. The Panoramic found a dealer. They're not a dealer. They're an RV. They're solely an RV repair shop, apparently. That's pretty good down in Santa Cruz. So one of these times here soon, Jillia and I will be making a trip to Santa Cruz. I just don't want to have to leave the RV there, so I'm going to call them and see if it's the type of thing where we can arrive and, you know, leave it there for the afternoon and then maybe just bop around Santa Cruz a little bit and then later on in the day go pick it up. Because I really don't want to leave the RV there like for an extended period of time. So in any case, I'll call them and we'll figure that out. So that's something that we need to do. Something else we need to do is, again, this is not panoramic. This is the ProMaster, the driver's side mud flap. Part of it came off. They're kind of attached really flimsy. I'm a little bit disappointed with how they're attached to the frame. They're attached with two bolts, two screws. And one side's kind of a clamp. That came off, and so it was hanging on literally by a few threads of the other side. And I reattached it, but I don't know perhaps if I didn't do it correctly, because now when I turn the wheel to do like a left-hand 90-degree turn, the tires treads will rub against it. It'll make this awful grinding sound. Almost sounds, it's not good. So I've got to go out there. In fact, I might do it today, and because I've got my tool set in the van, and try to rejigger that and readjust that so that it doesn't do that anymore. So that's on the list. I want to use the Thule ladder, and a viewer asked about the Thule ladder, and I haven't used it yet. It's in the back, so I want to use it, make sure I'm familiar with how it all works. It has a magnetic attachment at the top, so that it attaches to the van at the top and makes it sturdy. But I want to try it, and I want to go up there, maybe just clean off any of the debris that's up there after all the storms, and maybe clean the solar panels. And then I'm trying desperately to empty the propane tank, because Panoramic has sent me the instructions on how to recalibrate the gauges for the propane. So in order to do that, you have to refill the tanks, and once they're full and you're level, then you recalibrate it. So that curmudgeon-y, grumpy guy at the propane fill place that I go to, and I love him, but he made it clear to me that he doesn't want to fill up anyone's propane tank that's less than, 4 or 5 gallons. He's tired of filling up propane tanks. People come in and only take a half a gallon, he said. So I'm going to make sure it's empty before I go in. I don't want to set him off. So I've been running the heater and cooking in here and everything else, and the darn thing is so, the Truma is so efficient that it's just sipping down the propane. But we'll get there. So that's on the to-do list. And yeah, so those are all things. Oh, and we got to get the figure out the WineGuard why the tuning for the TV channels isn't working. That's not a big one. I had it at my Pleasure Way and I never used it there, and I don't anticipate I'll ever use it here. I stream everything, so yeah. But I want it working. I paid for it. It's a new RV, so I want it working. See the breeze coming through? I don't know if you can see, it's blowing around the little tea bag label. So someone asked a question about the whole coach Wi-Fi and how exactly do you set that up and configure it, and let me show you really quickly now. Here. So the first thing you need to do is behind the television, let me pull it out here for you. All right, I don't know if you can see. See those two green lights? There's buttons on each side. So you want to make sure that the right side one is on and the green light is on, because that turns on, there's whole coach Wi-Fi on the right, and then there's the digital TV antenna on the left. So just make sure that the whole coach Wi-Fi right is pressed, and then you'll just go here into WineGuard Connect, and I will show you how to do that. So connect to the WineGuard Wi-Fi for your coach, and then in your web browser go to 10.11.12.1 and you'll come into a login screen like this, and then log in. Look in your manual for the username and password to get in, and when you go inside you'll see here you can scan for Wi-Fi. I have saved Wi-Fi, so I'm going to show you the saved Wi-Fi, but if you've doing it the first time you scan for Wi-Fi, it will show you your list of Wi-Fis. Now I'm using my phone, you can see here, so it says Neil's phone, but there's other networks here like at my house and things like that. You can set all of those up inside the application, which is a good idea to do. So any ones that you know that you're going to use like at your house or your phone, just go ahead and set them up here so that the WineGuard whole coach Wi-Fi can just go down through the list and find whatever is available for you. It'll make your life easier. So in this case I have Neil's iPhone and I hit connect. Now if this is your first time doing this, it'll ask you to log in to your hotspot, but once you log in and you put the password in, you save it and it'll remember it forever, and then it will automatically connect whenever it's available. So all you have to remember is when you come into the coach, the first thing that you should do is turn on your hotspot on your phone, and then turn on the power, the battery disconnect, turn on the power for the coach. So you can see here now I'm connected to Neil's iPhone, and so if I go to my web browser now, I can just, my web browser, my iPad here is connected to my Panoramic whole coach Wi-Fi, and so I can just now browse the web because it's connected through my phone, and that's it. So it's pretty straightforward to do. Sometimes it doesn't, connect, and so you'll just have to go to 10.11.12.1 and log in, and then go to your Wi-Fi list and select the one you want it to connect to and hit connect, and that's it. And the beautiful thing about this setup is, as I've mentioned before, all of your devices and things like that can just always connect up to your Panoramic whole coach Wi-Fi, and then you just once go into your whole coach Wi-Fi, like if you're at a Starbucks for instance, find their hotspot, go into this screen, and then add it to your list of Wi-Fi connection points and hotspots, and then connect the whole coach to that, like Starbucks Wi-Fi, and then everything that's connected to your Panoramic whole coach Wi-Fi is now using Starbucks. So you don't have to reconfigure the TVs, or if you have laptops and tablets and stuff like that, they don't have to all be reconfigured because they're connecting to the Panoramic whole coach Wi-Fi, and suddenly they're connected to everything. So that's how it works. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comment section below and I'll be happy to try to answer them for you. And that is our little tip for the day.